Secondly, my EFF colleague said and mentioned that they protested for free education. But the fact of the matter is that there is no such thing as free education. Somebody always pays. And in this instance, these EFF and ANC students want the university to pay for these school fees, and we think that is completely unacceptable. Furthermore, I believe that this is a direct fault of the ANC and of the ANC government and their utterances, and especially former President Zuma's, that promised free higher education to students. And now we are seeing protests. We are seeing people being killed because of these protests, because they are having been they've turned violent, and police have had to be called in. Furthermore, I can say that we do welcome the investigation by IPID into the police occurrences that took part there, because at the end of the day, people should be held accountable for shootings, whether and that process needs to take its course. But I think that is genuinely my stance. And maybe just a last thought, the youth of today have learned by example that if you break and you burn, you will get everything. And the fact of the matter is, and the FF Plus's opinion is, that breaking and burning solves nothing. It is not going to miraculously make money appear out of thin air. It is not miraculously going to solve our problems and solve our economic woes. And the fact of the matter is, within this pandemic, within all of these intricacies and trials we've seen, with our country standing on a fiscal cliff, we cannot afford to actually assist students with more than R1 billion of student debt, because the fact of the matter is, higher education should not be prioritized. Basic education should be prioritized, and we've seen in what a mess our basic education currently is.
Okay, so let me just pick up from what you said about the protest. You are saying that the students have to learn that when you break and bend, you will get what you want. Are you saying that the students deserve to be shot at and be brutalized like this when they were trying to engage the management of the university so that they can discuss the issue of the exclusion of students who could not afford to be re-registered? And of course, I'm trying to really just make you hear their voice here. They are saying, coming out of 2020 during the lockdown period and COVID-19, they lost their loved ones, their breadwinners. So right now they have nothing, but they don't want to be excluded from education, not because they don't have anything.
That is not what I'm saying. That is totally not what I'm saying. The fact of the matter is, I was in student leadership myself. I was on the SRC myself. We had issues just like we currently have with regard to bursaries not paying out, with regards to students not being able to. But there is a way, and there is a way to approach any situation. To break and to burn is not the way to get management's attention. That is not the way that university students are supposed to be acting. University students, and especially SRCs, need to be responsible individuals, need to, at a responsible level, engage with management, and should ensure that instances like this, that people being killed, that students being shot at, does not happen, because that is due to bad leadership.
But it's very surprising that when students from the beginning try to engage management meaningfully with discipline, it starts very well. But for them to be snubbed, for their negotiations not to end well, management walks away from them, then they go to the streets. So two wrongs don't make a right.
That is the fact of the matter. Two wrongs do not make a right. I 100% agree with you there. But the fact of the matter is, then you find other means, then you find other channels. But violence is never an option. And violence and protesting and breaking is never an option, because then we see instances where everybody loses. We see instances where innocent bystanders and other people are being killed on the streets. And this is a tendency that we've seen years and years and years. And that is the fact of the matter. Because the students were not willing to engage in more peaceful manners of actually getting their voice heard, people have lost their lives. And that is in no means, you cannot write that. You cannot accept that, and you cannot use frustration as an excuse for people losing lives.
All right, Member of Parliament of the FF Plus, Tammy Wessels. We take a break, and of course we'll catch up with you at the top of the hour.